Well, I mean, there's several stories around the village, from no doubt you've got from other people, about Mr. King, and well, my mother must have had bad experiences with him when she went to Muscombe School, so I never had the pleasure of going. I went to Sutton School started school at Sutton.
Oh, your mum had so many difficulties with Mr. King.
That's right, and there's so many stories going off that we went to Sutton School.
Right.
There were a couple of other people in the village actually that went. Barry Talbot, he went to Sutton School. In fact, I used to bike with him in the later years when I was about 8 years old, and he was one of the bigger lads then, because they used to stay there and in those days until you used to start at 4 or 5 or whatever it was, and you didn't finish until you were 14, 15, unless you passed your 11 plus. But during my time they changed that, because they built Tuxford School, which was the new secondary modern one, around, when would that be, around the late 50s. My brother went to Tuxford, I passed my 11 plus and went to the Magnus in Newark.
He'd be one of the first ones there though, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, he would. When did he start? He was the year behind me. So he'd start there in 58. So I think it was 58 that Tuxford opened. I'm not sure on that day, but somewhere around then. But I know once I was about 8, I mean, initially I used to go on the double-decker bus to school at Sutton-on-Trent, and then finish 15 minutes early and catch the bus home.
Oh, right.
And then when I was about 8 years old or so, I used to bike it then down in all weathers, and off on my bike down to Sutton. Of course then you could stay till the end of school, and perhaps in the summertime stay and play with your mates, your school pals. And of course one bloke who was well known in this village is John Marshall, and I started school the very same day as him, and we both passed for 11 plus together, and we both finished on the same day. So I went, right.
Did it affect your friendships with people in North Muscombe going to Sutton?
Well, not really, no, but I mean, you should have had more friends, I would say, really, because you know. But it was the sort of north end of the village didn't seem to mix much with the south end at the time. I mean, you knew who they were, but they sort of went their way. And
in what sense? In sense of playing?
Well, yeah,
mixing.
Mixing. Really, you knew who they were, but they sort of had their meeting places, and we had ours down this end, if you know what I mean. I mean, it wasn't a great divide or anything like that. It was just that.
Yeah. What about Magnus? How did you find that when you went at 11?
I didn't like it one little bit. The sooner I finished there, the better.
Oh, right. Not a good experience.
No, not really. I was never a great scholar. In fact, I don't know why I passed my 11 plus. And you know, at homework, of course, they didn't get any homework at the Sconce Hills and that, where the other lads in the village went to.
Right.
And we used to get homework and one thing and another, but mine never got done that often. But we've survived it.
Where did you go to after Magnus?
Well, I left school at, well, you had to stay till 16 at Magnus, and I did an apprenticeship at Worthington Simpsons, engineering apprenticeship, and I did that, finished my apprenticeship, and then I went to work at the sugar factory as a maintenance fitter.
Oh, right.
And I spent the next 31 years there. I was like foreman and moved into the packaging plant, and then sort of shift manager, and then they decided they could manage without me. Which was good really, because I got I sort of retired at 52 with my pension, and
Oh. That's why you look so young.
well, it must be, yeah. I didn't pack up completely. I did have other jobs like since then, but nothing very serious.
So tell us about sugar factory and British Sugar coming along and all that sort of thing. You know,
Well,
when you went, what was it?
when I went, it was probably the small. I think there was 17 sugar factories throughout England and Scotland. Well, there's only one in Scotland actually. That was in 1967. I started there. Then they had they closed 4 factories in 1971. One of them being Nottingham. And then there was,
Cooper was one.
yeah, there was one in Cooper in Scotland. That was the first to go, I think. That was, and they sort of had a rationalisation programme where they've ended up with 4 factories now.
No.
Now there's only 4 left, yeah. And I think only 3 of them are processing sites. But they did do a big reconstruction of Newark Sugar Factory, around 74 to 77. That was a major reconstruction by John Lang and Company.
Right.
Well, every year at that time, in the early days, you used to have a sugar beet campaign where they brought the beet in from September to January, February, and that was it. The rest of the time was shut down for maintenance.
Really? Oh, so September to November.
No, September to
January, February.
Oh, it's January. Oh, sorry. So nearly 6 months.
No, well, they were running for 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, you used to start end of September, middle end of September, and run right through Christmas, and finish towards the end of January,
Right.
mid-February.
And then
And that was it. Closed, finished. Nothing else, other than they had a packaging plant where they used to
Pack all
the.
So did you have temporary staff then?
Oh, there was quite a lot of casual staff.
Casual staff.
Yeah, in fact, at that time they used to bring a lot of casual staff from Ireland to actually do all the dirty, mucky jobs that no one else.
Right.
And they have an hostel there where there used to be about 60 come across.
Small scale.
And they had a hostel there where they used to put them up in a.
At the factory?
In fact, it's still there now.
There,
It's the one that behind what was the sports field.
Yeah.
There's a row of the building across the back there. That is the old hostel. That was built in. Well, that was built the year I started there. That hostel was. Prior to that, they had old wartime Nissan huts.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, where they used to house all these Irishmen. Then, of course, once it modernised,
Yeah.
and it was updated, they did away with a lot of these sort of manual jobs, so they didn't quite require as many staff. And then, of course, unemployment became. I mean, it reopened in 1976. There was actually no campaign at Newark Sugar Factory. They used to bring the beet into Newark Sugar Factory in a lorry.
Yeah.
They used to tip it in a pile, test it for the sugar samples, and then put it on another lorry and send it to another factory somewhere. That was for 1 year, the 1976, 77.
To 77.
Yeah.
That was a bad year as far as families were concerned, because you used to get a big bonus in the summer, and that paid for your holidays and things. So
Yeah.
that year we didn't get anything.
No bonus.
No bonus.
So you were paid as an engineer to go all the way through?
Oh yes.
But other
Yeah.
people were just on pot?
There were many people.
Many people.
More people on part time probably than.
Right.
I mean, they used to have the regulars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There must be some stories. You must have some stories there about the Irish workers and the comings and the goings and the.
Well, there's. You know, it's that long ago. I can't really remember. I mean, it's something I've not thought about. But I mean, I was more in the machine shop side on the maintenance rather than actually in the factory. I mean, we did used to go in the factory, but only sort of when it was, you know, major breakdowns and things like that.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, it was when I started, it was you used to work 7 days a week, and you had 1 day off in 28.
Wow.
And that was
Wow.
without pay that day, but it was the money was quite good because you used to put the hours in.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to get double time on Sundays, time and a half Saturdays, and so you know, if I was on maintenance, I was mainly on days. They did have shift maintenance people, but they were sort of minimal just to keep it ticking over on the night shift and whatever. I was on the day shift, and you know, if we had a breakdown or something, it was very often 9, 10 o'clock before I got home at night.
Yeah.
But you know, probably got. You know, we used to say if we got less than 90 paid hours in a week, we'd had a short week.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, of course, when the summer, the other months came, the Mays and the Junes, you were not getting any.
No, you were just on a basic 40-hour week then, as it was, and you used to get the odd Saturday morning in, like, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know,
So what were holiday times like for you both then?
the holiday times, you could more or less have your holidays
When you
any
wanted.
time during the summer period. It didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
No. They did have the Newark shutdown period, which was, I mean, you used to get 2 weeks holiday anyway then.
Oh, because of the shutdown.
And that was it. I mean, all companies really in the early days only got 2 weeks holiday, and then they brought extra plushy bank holidays, of course.
Mm. Mm.
But they brought the extra days in, and then you got 3 weeks holiday, and it goes up to 4 weeks. And
Okay, give you a little breather.